Hi, I'm Edison,
I'm DC.
and welcome to Fans React. We are watching Not Me, episode 11. Hope everyone is doing well.
I hope everybody's safe and sane.
Last week, Not Me. What happened? Okay, so everyone's dealing with the fallout of Black waking up. I think what got really confusing is we overthought how Sean knew that White was secretly Black. And that's where I sort of like rationalized why not disclosing that information before they did it. That sort of intimacy is where you kind of should disclose anything that might affect your relationship in terms of like consent or like secrets, you know, like if they need to know anything before you go to the next stage. And so like me thinking that Sean knew that White was Black when Black was like, what if I'm not Black? That was the conversation where I felt like what was unsaid was spoken about. But now looking back, White should have cleared the air there and told Sean that he wasn't Black, because then Sean thought that he was doing it with Black.
Basically, White catfish Black into sex. White, he was getting swept away. A consistent thing with White is that he doesn't freaking think before he acts, and he get caught up into things, which I'm not saying is right, but I'm saying that is his modus operandi. So I don't think he was thinking, which is not out of the ordinary for White.
Oh, you know the thing about the judge and the mom? I've been thinking about that. Judging by this environment and this fantasy where people can get shot and killed and assassinated by Tui, that's where I'm coming from with the judge. I feel like she understands that if she does go against him, she could potentially be killed in an accident. People have the power to cover the murder up.
It's step down from being a judge, and if your life is in danger, if you're going to do the right thing, you can at least remove yourself from doing it. It's kind of like the doctors, do no harm. If you can't do the right thing and you're afraid of doing the right thing for your life, for the well-being of your family and stuff like that, step away. There's that choice.
Yeah, I think just putting myself in her position, I would take the money. And then I would also be like, I'm preventing any more, like someone more corrupt from coming in. I feel like she has some moral sensibility, but also I don't know what judges do.
Especially in the American system, you have judges who rule on cases. Then you have judges who rule on specific criminal cases, then judges who rule on civil cases, and then judges who rule on that. But then also you have sentencing judges who either sentence you to the maximum minimum. So there's actually like just a judge is kind of like, oh, you're a doctor of what? Like, are you a podiatrist? Are you a heart doctor or anything like that? So that's also your Supreme Court judges who they're the top and they interpret the Constitution. So yes, her being a judge, it does depend on how you judge.
Yeah, so it's quite vague, the extent of her powers.
Right.
So there's still a lot of information.
Yeah. For me, I was like, it sounds like she's on the take. It sounds like she's a part of Tui. It sounds like, and this was all the stuff that I was adding in.
Anyways, everyone's risking their lives, and they've got to stay alive for 4 more episodes, so let's see if they can do that.
Black beat up Sean, but then White came back for Sean. I guess for Sean in his position, it's like, okay, you kicked my ass, but now you come back for me to help me out, which is probably the confusion that was really last left.
I guess the other thing is like how sympathetic are they going to make Black? They've already kind of cast him in this such a violent light. I want to think that there is some sort of sympathetic elements just because they did go into their childhood. Black taking like the blame for White when White scratched the car or whatever. There is that caring side that I hope comes out again. And yeah, let's not even mention Graham because I don't care anymore.
Well, also, Black's gonna confront Todd.
Oh yeah.
If he's whipping people's ass like this, when he gets to Todd,
you're gonna love it. I don't want to love it. I want Todd to be there as an option, as a sugar daddy for when I when I get out there.
Yeah, this was like a lot. Hot Henchy.
I hope Hot Henchy changes sides and then falls in love with someone. Please, Gunpa. Oh, everyone's going back for Sean? That's not how they usually do it. Keep running. Keep running. Let's go. Let's go. So now he's pretending to be White.
Now he's Black, pretending to be White, pretending to be Black. I'm gonna shoot him.
A cigar? Goodness.
I would know it's him in like 5 seconds.
He doesn't suspect anything? These are like his childhood friends that he grew up with.
He does if he drinks it.
Ah.
If he drinks it and he doesn't,
Flinch, like Whitewood?
right?
Oh, poor Dan.
ไปที่ไหนดีอ่ะ
To a hospital.
ไม่เป็นไรมากอ่ะ
No, you're not.
I'm all right.
I guess the police ask questions if, like, a gunshot victim is taken to the hospital.
Well, they ask questions if they're a gunshot victim taken to the hospital, and also he's a police officer that got shot.
Oh, they're like, oh, hey, yo, Dan, what happened to you, bro?
But don't worry, we're gonna take out the people who shot you. Who did it?
Not to Wee's men.
มึงเพิ่งถูกยิงมานะ มึงเป็นบ้าอะไรเนี่ย มึงนั่นแหละที่เป็นบ้าอะไร มึงเป็นคนพูดเองไม่ใช่เหรอ ว่าอย่ามายุ่งกับมึงอีกอ่ะ ทิ้งกูไปแล้วอ่ะ กลับมาช่วยกูอีกทำไม ปล่อยให้กูโดนฆ่าไปได้จบ จอด ไม่จอดกูโดดถ้าโดดก็ลงไปด้วยกันนี่แหละ
That was this black right there.
ยังไม่เจอไอ้แบ็คใช่ปะ
Oh, come on, Todd. I know you're smarter than this.
Todd, you're a kingpin.
That's what
You're
we
a
think.
kingpin. You should know this. But then he'll be like, yeah. And then all of a sudden his guys come out of nowhere. I see black.
That would make the most sense.
ถ้ามันฝืน อย่างแรกคือล้างแค้น มันต้องอยากเจอคนที่ทำมันเป็นแบบนี้ ก็คือกูใช่ปะแบ็ค
What are these subtitles?
Like, don't play with guns, kids.
Okay.
ดื่มด้วยกันไหม
Oh.
Oh, that's why.
Oh, Todd, you lived up to my expectations. That was a good move. Okay. Oh, he feels the drugs as well. What the hell? This... Okay. Oh, now he's gonna drown it on the car. Okay. Oh,
Oh,
dude.
shit.
แบ็คมึงเป็นไรอะแบ็ค
What?
แบ็คมึงเป็นไรวะแบ็คแบ็คเฮ้ย
Ouch.
At least they slowed down.
Falling off a bike and onto the pavement. Okay, so I've fallen off of like motorbed and it's like, ow. This gives me too many flashbacks.
Yeah, right, let's move on.
เละมาทุกวันเลยนะมึงเนี่ย
จะได้ชิน
ทะเลาะกับเพื่อนใหม่มาเอาไว้
พวกแม่งฉลองกันใหญ่อะที่สร้างกระแสกดดันไล่อธิการบดีออกไปได้ แต่มันก็ยังไม่จบจริงๆไง ในอนาคตปัญหามันก็ต้องเกิดขึ้นมาอีก เป็นแบบนี้ซ้ำๆถ้าไม่เรียนรู้จากอดีตอะกูก็เลยระเบิดแม่งไปทีนึง
มึงเนี่ยมันมาบ้าชัด
Some people thought Todd and Black were in love as a thing. I could see that.
กูมั่นใจแล้วว่าไม่ใช่แค่พวกเราที่ทำเรื่องพวกนั้นนะ แต่เราทำให้มันใหญ่ขึ้น เป็นระดับสังคม ระดับประเทศ กูเห็นภาพของทุกคนมากมาย
So was Todd helping Black before?
I don't know what's going on.
Black seems
They have a
chill.
relationship.
Yeah.
Right. They have some type of relationship. And he's telling Todd all of this. Like, the fuck?
สร้างโลกใบใหม่ที่เป็นโลกของพวกเราจริงๆ
นั่นมันยูโทเปียแล้ว มันไม่มีวันเกิดขึ้นจริงหรอก ไม่งั้นก็ต้องฆ่าให้ตายไปข้างหนึ่ง
มึงดูจากมาร์ตินลูเทอร์คิงดิ ที่เขาสู้แบบ non-violence กับ civil disobedience เขายังชนะได้เลย
แล้วยังไง
What do you feel about that?
So the problem with saying that, okay, Martin Luther King wasn't violent and nonviolence and that he stood for nonviolence, if you check and look back through a lot of his writings, he never condemned people who were doing violence and things like that. He was just that way in which he was doing it was not to pick up guns. And he never condemned people who were doing riots. In fact, he said, a riot is the language and the voice of the unheard. Martin Luther King alone himself didn't do it. There was this whole movement, and people like to point to one person who did it and ignore all these other people who did work. And also it was a combination of other movements who were actually violent and riots and pissed off and stuff like that. So just to point to him and say, okay, that's it. But then on top of that, to say that it was ended with him, it wasn't, because we're still marching to this day for the same thing. Martin Luther King marched for equality and against police violence and things like that. What are we marching for in 2020? But then also, guess what? They killed him. He was assassinated. Even though his nonviolence thing that he did, it was actually very revolutionary for what he was doing. But also the violence that was done to the people who marched and stuff like that, that was broadcast into the houses of the nation. When they saw that the police officers were committing violence and beating these women and children and sicking dogs on them, then that changed to see what happened. But then on top of that, saying that, Martin Luther King did it alone, but that's only focusing on one part of the whole civil rights struggle, because there was some violence, there was some all this other kind of stuff, and people honestly want to focus on that because they think that everybody is nonviolence and just quietly doing it over there, then that's more palatable. But they have to remember that even Martin Luther King if you look back, Martin Luther King during that time, his favorable rating was in the low and people hated him. Like the general white population hated him. But because he's dead, people were like, oh, yeah, look what he did, I hate that mischaracterization of stuff.
แล้วยังไงวะมาร์ตินลูเทอร์คิงของมึงอะสุดท้ายแล้วอะก็โดนรอบสังหารนี่กูเป็นห่วงมึงนะเว้ยแบ็ค
So Todd
กูทำใจไว้ละ
almost killed him because he was worried about him?
เขาเชื่อ
Yeah,
ยังไงวะ
then what?
10 ปีต่อมา
Few years.
เมสซิตี้มีอยู่เหมือนเดิม
Exactly.
มันประเทศไทยนะเว้ยมึงสังคมกับบ้านเมืองไม่เหมือนกันถ้าเกิดเราจะเปลี่ยนอะไรสักอย่างหนึ่งอะเราต้องมีอำนาจ
Is Todd good?
ชน
No.
เท่ต่างหากที่จะเปลี่ยนแปลงสังคมได้
Like, for a lot of people, a lot of this in there, it's a lot of, I think this is all gray area.
But we're getting some interesting insight that Todd was once at a stage where he was working together with Black to try and enact change. And he does bring up the point that you do need power. I think that is the sort of disillusioned struggle that a lot of people might have. It's sort of like the discussion of, what can you do if you're not in a position of power?
I see people struggle with that, but then we always have to keep in mind that there are people who say, okay, I need power to enact change. But when they have the power, and it changes them. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And that's the struggle.
Right? Freaking Frodo, throw that ring in the fire.
It's like they said, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Oh, Todd couldn't kill his friend. I mean, that's good. That's good. Okay, I have some faith in Todd.
ไม่ได้มาห้องนี้นานแค่ไหนแล้ววะ
ตั้งแต่กูรู้ว่ามึงเฮี้ยไม่ต่างจากไอ้ทวี
นี่ยังเหมือนเดิมเลยนะ เชื่อแต่ความคิดตัวเอง น้องมึงกับเพื่อนมึงอะทำดีแล้ว อีกไม่นานทวีคงอยู่ไม่ได้ และอำนาจก็จะไปอยู่กับกู
See?
ไอ้ทวียังล้มได้เลย
No, but he thinks he's still a good guy, right? He thinks if
Right.
he has the power, he'll be able to create change. I don't feel like he's corrupted yet, But he still beat Black up, and we don't know why.
But you know what? This is the thing. People concentrate on people in positions of power. This is why people look at systemic change. Because once you're in the position of power, in order to have the power to create the power, you have to do those same things that got you the power. So you just the head is changing, you know? And once he gets into the position of Tui, he will be just like Tui because he's in the same position. The system is still the same. Let's say a person has the greatest intentions with the world and wants to go into office and they really want to help people. And so they become prime minister and they get all of this power to change. However, you have parliament, you have the upper house, you have the lower house, you have business interests, you have all of this other kind of stuff. These things that constrain your power. So you actually don't get to create that change.
Right.
Even in any position, no one has absolute power. Like even dictators. One of the greatest books to read is The Dictator's Handbook. They're not absolute power because they also have to keep certain people happy to keep their power. In this position, I do see it more of Black's perspective in that the system has to be changed. But you can't change a system within the system. Audre Lorde said, you can't use the master's tools to dismantle the house.
I think I understand the nuance though. Because when I relate to Todd, it's more of like what is achievable. And so like in Todd's position, he is in a place where he can achieve something, which is get in a position of power and try from that perspective. And so like the idea of systematic change feels insurmountable in comparison to like, what can I do as a person, which is to get power. What Black is doing is more abstract, hypothetical, relies on more things outside of your realm, like how other people react to what you do, and the population can be unpredictable as well. To me, that's where the struggle is. And I think for Todd, it's easier to try and create change because he's closer to power.
I really feel that Todd, he has idealistic aspiration. He can get in there and he can create change and things like that. It's not realistic. I think for me sitting back, it's not realistic. One of the things that you said, which is very true, is that you can't depend on the population. But getting into a position of power and changing it without the populace, that means you know better than the people. Like you're using power over the people to say, okay, I'm going to change the system. I know what's best. That's super villain status right there.
Okay.
Because,
I don't know. I feel like it's just going for what you feel like is the most achievable. And I understand, like, from your perspective, systematic change is the most realistic way to create change. Understanding the tool set to do so, to get there, is what I think I don't see the picture of. And so, like, I guess if Black really thinks that he can do that, good for him. But to me, yeah, Todd and the judge and the mother are kind of on the same page where they're kind of like, the system is a beast. Like, you'd have to start all over again. And that's not something that's perceptible or imaginable.
the system, the way it is today, did not happen overnight. So change, any lasting change, is not going to happen overnight.
At the end of the day, these two need to work together and not argue about their ideals. I feel, yeah.
That's why I'm saying, like, it's him alone can't do it. Todd alone can't do it. So
Right now, Todd is saying, you should let me handle this instead of like, let's both do our own thing, but also collaborate. They shouldn't really be arguing over the right way to do things. I'm glad we got somewhere.
Solutions are a lot more complicated, but then also it takes time.
ขนาดไอ้ทวียังล้มได้เลยใครหน้าไหนก็ล้มได้ทั้งนั้นแหละอำนาจมันอยู่กับมึงไม่นาน
กูรู้อำนาจมันเปลี่ยนมือไปมาอยู่แล้วถ้าไม่เป็นของครอบครัวกูก็เป็นของคนอื่นแต่นี่มันที่ของกูไงแล้วกูก็จะมีวันพลาดเหมือนมัน
มึงไม่มีทางดีไปกว่ามันหรอกถ้ามึงมีอำนาจมึงก็กลายเป็นอีกคน
Black doesn't believe in his friend. That sucks.
ทุกวันนี้สังคมมันเละเทะไม่เป็นระเบียบไปหมดถ้าไม่มีคนควบคุมอำนาจอะ
Why does Todd have cleavage?
ก็มึงอยู่เป็นคนคุม
For me, why not? I love it.
Not that cleavage is it. I'm just like,
He knows it. Like,
Todd's
he's
cleavage.
flaunting it. Like, he's got that
Right.
rich boy cleavage. I'm just like, into it.
right. I'm just like, I'm just like, okay, not that I'm saying like, why does he have cleavage? Like, it's bad. I'm just like, it's like cleavage. Like,
มึงอยากเป็นคนคุมไงมึงเลยพูดแบบเนี้ย
Yes, why not? Give me
ใน
power.
ตอนเนี้ยมีสิทธิทำทุกอย่างมีอิสระกันเต็มที่ยกเว้นแค่บางเรื่อง ถ้ามึงไม่เก็บมาคิดมันก็จะไม่เป็นปัญหากับชีวิตมึง มันมีแต่เราจะตกลงกันยังไง ให้เราอยู่ร่วมกันได้ต่างหากมันเป็นอย่างนี้มาโดยตลอด แล้วก็จะเป็นอย่างนี้ต่อไปอีกนาน มึงยอมรับความจริง แล้วก็ฟังในสิ่งที่กูพูดบ้างเถอะ
Oh, okay, we're back to White. You know, I don't care about White anymore. Sean's more interesting right now. I'm gonna say that I'm not as captivated as Sean and White's romance. I know that's controversial because they are the leads, but I don't know why I don't feel it. I feel Todd and Black's friendship more than this.
I'm with the York Dan dang, and I know that you're like, oh, death flag, but like,
No, get invested. You put all your feelings in there, and when someone dies, you'll regret it. I don't wanna see a bullet coming out of your body. Please don't show us that.
he's gonna pop it out like a pimple.
No thanks. No thanks.
ตำรวจรู้ว่าผมทำอะไรอยู่อ่ะ ทุกคนสวยนะฮะ แล้วจะให้ทำไงอ่ะ จะปล่อยไว้งี้เหรอ อยากตายเหรอ
No, you've got to Google how to do this. Oh dear.
No, just go into YouTube. YouTube teaches you everything. Better put some ambisol or something in there. Give me some alcohol.
เอาก่อนแล้วก็ล้างมือด้วย แล้วก็ใส่ได้แห้งสุดแล้วคีบกระสุนออก พี่จะบ้าเหรอ ผมไม่ใช่หมอนะเว้ย เร็ว
I'm not a.
You should have. I wish Dan spoke up sooner. So then Gumpa could do this. I reckon Gumpa could do this.
Gunpa could be like.
He'd just be like,
Gunpa is like, right.
this is gross.
Trust me, because I trust you.
It just didn't do any sound effects with when it's going in.
Nasty.
Oh, he did it. Okay.
ๆ ออกแล้ว
Okay, that was okay. That was alright. Oh, now you've got to stitch him up. Frick, that's scary. What?
ที่กูทำมันยังไม่ชัดพออีก
กูอยากให้มึงอธิบายให้กูฟัง
Literally, White needs to tell him this episode. Please tell Sean that you're wet.
มาม่าโอเคคาโบนาร่าเบคอนชีสเข้มข้นหอมเบคอนมาม่า
When are they gonna eat the ramen? Like, if I was a ramen sponsor, I'd be like, why hasn't my ramen been shown yet? Like, everything
No,
else has been shown.
whatchamacallit?
Like, the soy milk got shown like 5 times. Where's the ramen? If I was ramen, I'd be like, hey, I gave you money too. Like, what the frick?
I thought they were at ramen before.
Wait, when?
That,
They can use the ramen to close Dan's wound. They're like, ramen can
Now
fix
that you-
everything. You put ramen in the wound and then you sand it off. And then you paint over it.
and that's, you do that for a person, they get infected and die.
พี่เป็นตำรวจนะ
You're a cop. Oh.
หรือว่าเคยแต่ยิงคนอื่น
Don't joke about that.
He's like, don't make that joke. Did he not tell him? I thought he told him through the... You know how when someone has a flashback and you think they're expositioning something?
ทำคดีวิสามันที่ทำให้ผมโดนดองได้ไหมจำได้
Wait, so he does know. So we did tell him.
คนที่ขับรถบรรทุกที่ผมยิงตายอ่ะ พ่อชอน
Oh.
Oh, God.
ใครยิงพ่อผม
น้องอย่ามาเซาซีพี่ได้ไหมพี่บอกแล้วไงพี่บอกไม่ได้
พวกเดียวกันใช่ปะ
ใจเย็นๆ
จะช่วยกันปกปิดอะ
ใจเย็น
ในฆ่าพ่อกู
ๆพี่บอกแล้ว
Oh, he saw this?
That's why he knows it's his father.
Oh. He kept it real cool when he saw him in person again.
หลังจากวันนั้นอะ
You're right.
รู้สึกผิดมาตลอดมันก็ผลักดันให้ผมอยู่จุดนี้ไม่อยากปลดล็อกทุกอย่างผมไม่อยากแบกอะไรไว้แล้วอะพอหรอว่าเกิดอะไรขึ้นอะ
No. No. No.
What do you
no.
mean no? He has to. Why would he?
ไม่ได้นะพี่
What?
พี่ห้ามพูดเด็ดขาด
He needs that closure. He should.
แล้วตอนนี้ไอ้ชอนกำลังจะได้แก้แค้นในทวีแล้วด้วย พี่บอกไปตอนเนี้ยมันก็ไม่มีอะไรดีขึ้นมาหรอก
Yuck. Yes, it will.
พี่ไม่บอกอะพี่ต้องเสียใจไปตลอดชีวิต ถ้าพี่บอกชอนไปตอนเนี้ยไอ้ชอนจะพานโมโห
He's like, tell him after the mission's over. Let's use Sean's revenge for Tui for now.
So
Morality is so hard. The ethics is
right,
so hard.
more-
Look, I don't want to be
right.
a moral compass for anyone. Please don't listen to anything on this channel for guidance.
Dude,
No,
this
no.
is okay. So this channel is for total entertainment purposes only. This is not used for your moral compass. And in fact, if you use this for your moral compass, you already need to work on your moral compass. You got to pick the time to do it because, and he doesn't know this. He's about to find out that white exists. He may find out a whole bunch of stuff. Like right now is not the time. I mean, it's not saying don't tell him ever, but you know, there's a lot of shit that's happening right now.
I think if Yok was like, tell him when everything's settled, instead of tell him because he could derail the plan, that might be better.
Right. Poor Sean. He's just like,
Has anything good happened to Sean? Like,
Sean has had a day. He got beat up, shot, fell off a bike.
I guess the truth thing is also playing into this scene. When is the right time for White to tell Sean that he's not black?
I feel bad for Sean.
If White tells him now, Sean could bleed to death out of like frustration. I don't know.
กลับมาทำไมวะตอนแรกกูคิดว่ามึงใช่ แต่ตอนนี้กูเหมือนไม่รู้จักมึงเลย
Anything. Simple explanation about that.
You have to like take it and hide it as food.
He needs to spit it in his mouth.
มึงทำดีกับกูทำไมวะ
Cause I'm not
ตอบ
black.
ไปดิมึงทำดีกับกูทำไม
Why? It's the truth so hard to say sometimes. Why? Just say it. Just say it. Just say it.
กูเจ็บกับมึงมากพอละ
He thinks that
กูขอโทษ
he hurt
ต้อง
him
การคำขอโทษ
by just walking
ให้
away.
กูฟัง
He doesn't realize that Black beat the crap out of him.
กูอธิบายไม่ได้วะ
What?
กูแม่งคงบ้าไปแล้ว
Thank you, White. Thank you for proving the person that you are, who I always knew you were. Thank you for showing me your true colors. I'm just so annoyed at White.
I don't think he realizes that the whole thing happened and like Black beat him up. I think that he thought that, oh, he just blew up and he was just shot and stuff like that. And that he is just hurt by him just leaving because White did just take off and leave. But he doesn't understand that there's physical, there's psychological, there's all of this other kind of like PTSD. I don't think he understands the gravity of all of the hurt and stuff like that. So,
But I think White is also scared that what Sean will think when he finds out he's been deceived all this time.
oh yeah, most definitely.
And so,
I think that's another thing. When back to York and Dan, I think York also knowing that Sean has trust issues all the way around. He didn't trust Dan when he was just a cop, but when he's the cop that killed his father, that's even going to be a more thing. That, but then also with this and White, it's like he knows he has trust issues. So like, and this sounds like I'm victim blaming here. I'm not victim blaming. I'm not saying Sean is the problem or anything like that. But I'm just what I'm saying is that people know this, and that's why they're hesitant to do this.
แค่ตอนนี้ก็ยังดี
Okay, this is what I don't get. Like, I don't get what White thinks the end game is. Like, does he think he can continue being in a relationship with Sean if Black's out and about? Like,
he's not thinking.
He really just needs to consider things from Sean's perspective. Like,
okay, and he's gonna have sex with him, and he's beat up.
เดี๋ยวเราจะอยู่ข้างเธอเอง
Why are you laying on my face? It's sore.
กูไม่ไปไหนแล้ว
because I'm not
นี่
black.
แหละ
Jesus, White, what is your game? What is it going on? I can't get into this. Your first... He left. He left.
Not gonna go anywhere, and he left.
ไอ้แบ็ค
And he left, and he did it.
I'm so over White.
And he did it again.
Hasn't Sean suffered enough? Like,
Yeah, I would.
like, let's just tell him now. You know, let's just tell him now. Because he doesn't think he's hit rock bottom. Because he can't... Oh, no, he's just on the roof. It's a fake out, right? What was that trust for? You know, like, what was that trust for? What was that trust for if you aren't gonna be honest with him? Why don't we just tell him now? Let's just tell him that Dan shot his father. You know, let's just... I mean, he's in pain. He might as well.
Just let him know everything.
Yeah.
I think this is like, not me, is like, how can we like best mess up Sean? Oh my God. That's so bad for him.
Not me. More like, I'm glad I'm not Sean. I'm glad Sean is not me. Like, gosh.
Oh my God, Sean, I feel... Gumpa?
Hey, Gumpa. Okay.
มึงมานั่งทำอะไรตรงนี้เนี่ย
เฮียรู้ได้ไงว่าผมอยู่ที่นี่
ไอ้แบ็คมันโทรมาบอกให้กูมารับมึง มึงน่าจะขี่รถเองไม่ไหวอะ
What?
So he's still here?
แล้วมันไปไหนแล้ววะ
มันไม่ได้บอกกูอะ
He's not here.
ลงไปเก็บของกับกูแล้วรีบไปกัน
I think he just left him in the morning. He didn't leave him permanently. That's the thing.
มึงเก็บความรู้สึกของตัวเองไว้ก่อน เรามีเรื่องต้องทำอีกเยอะ
I can't deal with this. I can't take Sean not knowing and then his feelings being ping-ponged around.
I think also, as a character, Sean is a repository for everything that's bad that's happening. That pool needs to be...
It's an abandoned building. But you know there's like frogs and... there's frogs and mosquitoes.
The sponge. What is a BL without the sponge?
แล้วเมื่อคืนมึงนอนที่นี่เหรอ
กูนอนเฝ้าพี่เขาอะ
He's like, you guys are effing?
ไวนะมึง
So nothing happened between Black and Todd? Black just left him?
ลุกไหวด้วยเหรอ
So we didn't get an explanation of why Todd beat up Black. That's annoying. Like, I want that. Like, I thought they were going to talk about it.
They're difference in methods and methodology was so great that he was like, you got it.
You
I don't
still,
know.
you would not beat up your best friend. If you were convicted to beat him up, then you would be convicted to ending his life. That's what he tried to do. I don't know if they explained it and I missed it.
เอาตำรวจเข้ามาอยู่กับพวกเรา มึงไว้ใจมันได้ไงวะ
มึงไม่ต้องยุ่ง นี่มันเป็นแผนของกู
กูไม่ได้ถามมึง
He's like, it's almost like you two are two different people from yesterday.
เลิกคติได้แล้วไอ้แบ๊ก
คติเฮียอะไร มึงพาตำรวจเข้ามา ตายหากันหมดแน่
Let him fall.
He's not gonna catch him.
No, he's not. He's gonna.
And that's the end of Sean.
เล่นเฮียอะไรของมึงเนี่ย มึงกลับมาแล้วเหรอ ไอ้แบ็ค
Oh, that's for Sean to
มึ
like
งเลิกได้แล้ว
realize.
This is the moment he realizes that they're two different people. Hmm.
ก็ช่วงหลังวันนี้ไม่เห็นมึงสูบเลย มึงไม่เห็นเหมือนแบ็คที่กูรักเลย ว่าที่ผ่านมาก่อนหน้าเนี้ยไม่ใช่มึง แต่เป็นอีกคนที่ดีกว่า
มึงโคตรเฮีย
It was better he'd tell you the truth. What the hell, Sean? Where did you get those handcuffs?
Oh, he got in a triangle. Nighty night. Nighty night.
มึงไม่ยอม
I don't get why they
Got
have
him in
to.
the triangle.
I don't get why they have to fight though. Like, why do they have to fight? That's impressive. I wish I could do that with my legs.
It's the leg hold is like a chokehold. Like
แฟนเฮียอะไร
มึงเอาอีกคนไปซ่อนไว้ที่ไหน
มึงพูดเฮียอะไรของมึงเนี่ย
มึงอย่ามาโกหก กูรู้ทุกอย่างหมดแล้ว
Do you? Do you really?
พูดออกมาดิ
Do you really know everything?
อย่ามายุ่งกับน้องกูอีก
มึงห้ามกูไปก็เท่านั้นแหละมึงไม่เลิกยุ่งแน่
Jesus Christ, Sean. Shouldn't you be a little pissed that White lied to you all this time? Like, I don't know.
maybe he is, but the thing about it is that
Yeah, he probably understands Black's hold over White.
his realization is like, okay, I figured this out. Okay, he's all of this trauma that I have from you kicking my ass and from all you did, it's more of a relief. I think he'll get up to the point of the deception later on, but like right now to feel like you're not crazy. I'm not crazy. You know, you are two different people. This and you, I don't have to be okay. I think this relief at first.
Okay.
Because you feel like you're being gaslit somewhat. It's like he's gaslighting you.
มึงอย่ากลับไปหาพวกเพื่อนกูอีกได้ไหมอะ
มึงเอาอีกคนไปซ่อนไว้ที่ไหน พูดออกมาดิ มึงไม่ค่อยเห็นแก่ตัวเลย พอไอ้แบ๊กมันกลับมา มึงจะหายไปแบบเนี้ยเหรอ
True.
จากนี้มึงอย่ามาให้กูเห็นหน้าอีก
Good point.
เคยคิดนะ ว่าแกอยู่กับแบ็คจะดีที่สุด
ฮะ
แต่เราต้องเห็นแกเสียใจเพราะมันมากี่ครั้งเราก็ไม่รู้ เราขอดูแลแกได้ไหม
Stop it, Graham. Okay.
อยู่ในคดีของพ่อคุณ
No, Dad.
ยิงพลาดไปโดนพ่อคุณ
Oh my god.
ชีวิต แลกด้วยชีวิต
So that's why now he's like, oh, kill yourself.
No.
Kill yourself.
That's a fake out. I feel like he's like, you killed Zoe if you want to make it up to me. I'm finally glad that Sean found out the truth because that dragged on for a while, but I do feel like it would have been better for White if he found out through White. I would feel pissed off. I would want to know why. White essentially kind of like led me on all this time. He was also espousing trust and all that stuff. And I'd be like, I can't take your words, you know, like, and just the way White carries himself, I feel like he's just a little bit of a coward and a hypocrite. But I like, you know, the show's gonna make you feel like he had his reasons. Hopefully they'll make me feel like his actions were justified to some point. Out of all the characters, I'm finding it kind of hard to like anyone enthusiastically. In the preview, Dan's gonna mess everything up because he needs to get off his chest. Fair enough, I get that you do need to do that. But at least Yok was a bit more strategical about this. And so, as a couple, please, you know, consolidate your strategies on how to move forward. And then Graham is a waste of space. And then there's Gunpah. Gunpah is probably Gunpah and Todd. I like them the most right now. Black, and also Black. I feel like Black has the right way of going things. Am I evil? Maybe a little. But you know, that's where I'm going with this. Black and Todd's dynamic is the most interesting. I like how Todd's doing things his way. It probably don't justify how he beat up Black almost to death. But there has to be a reason for that. Black wanting to protect his little brother. I like that. I feel like that's really cute that he has that side. And Gunpah is just really reliable and I would feel safe in his arms. So that's where I'm going with this.
So for me, at this point in this last episode, my heart went out to Sean. Like, he, at this point in the story, he has gone through so much psychological damage, physical damage, being gaslit, and just everything that was bad was just happening to him. You know, other people got shot, but like everything was just, he was just the repository for bad luck. White should have stayed there till the morning. If he said he was going to be there, he should have been there, but he didn't. And that's another breaking of the trust. It should have been better if White would have came out and said it, but I'm glad that he put it together and actually felt like some of that relief to say, okay, you know what? I'm not crazy. All right, you are different. I wanted that for him. I wanted something good for him. Graham was there, but Yok and Dan, I really like their two dynamics, and I liked how intimate they are, even with the bullet wound and stuff like that. However, this guilt is going to eat up Dan, and he's going to make some bad moves. I think it's just going to be bad, and it's going to ruin the one relationship that I'm really invested in. And as far as Sean and White relationship, I don't care about the relationship, but I just want something good for Sean. Nook. I miss Nook.
I just want Nook to come in last minute, be like, I told you so, and then she like wreaks havoc. I mean, obviously there is sympathy for Sean, but if you just focused on getting revenge, you wouldn't have been in this mess. So like, this is probably a very callous thing, very insensitive thing to say. But Sean's reliability on White and his kind of like, you keep me going, you're all I need, that's too much. And it's not healthy. And I think it's not a relationship that I want to support. You know, revenge isn't healthy either, but at least that's not putting the burden on someone else. That's just on you. He needs to be able to stand on his own 2 feet. And mentally, I don't think he's at a point where he can do that. To me, he's a lost puppy, and I want him to get that growth on his own instead of relying on someone else to complete him.
So I get that, and I could where like sometimes having actually often in a relationship when someone is totally dependent upon you, it gets to be a little bit suffocating, especially when you don't have the capacity to do that. However, Sean is broken. Sean is a broken, flawed character from the start.
The thing I forget is that their ages are meant to be about very early 20s.
But then also, keep in mind that not only is it that the revenge, but this is like his first love, first true love. And so that first one is when you get really messed up.
I hope we get to see more of Todd's point of view. Like, I don't feel like that the storyline where he beat up Black, which was the catalyst for a lot of this, has been resolved at all. So to see Black kind of just leave Todd without much closure other than, why can't we see eye to eye? doesn't feel good enough.
One of the things I think is going to happen, which this series does a lot of, it goes from here to there, but later on down the line, we get a flashback of how it was resolved. So I think that we're going to get a flashback about not only what happened with Todd and Black and how they came to a good understanding, but then also why Todd, because you put me in a hospital, I'm not gonna kill you, but
That's kind of hard to forgive.
Well, you put me in the hospital, I'm not gonna kill you, but rest assured, in the bank you have an ass whooping coming. It's just Bill's gonna come due for the ass whooping, and you're gonna get it. Maybe sometimes with interest.
Todd went to that extent. Black wanted to get revenge on him. He had a gun to his head. And now they're just kind of like, it's all good, bro. What happened, right? It's annoying that they can't work together. Because I feel like they should be able to. They're childhood friends. They have the same goal. Fair enough. He almost got you killed. Why? Why did he try and kill you? Give a female character some screen time. Some importance. Hello.
That's why I want to see more Nook. Because she's the only female character that brings something to the story.
But, I think it's still a great show. It explores some really interesting issues. Retrospectively, going back to a run-of-the-mill BL will just feel different, So,
I was looking at other BLs and we can react to this. I'm like, no, this is not, we've gotten a new level. This is not good enough.
That's the difficult thing, right? I can't just go, to when cute things happen. There needs to be some spice.
And it actually started with Bad Buddy. We started to figure that out. Now this BL is just
we've got taste now. We've got standards of what BL we want to react to.
Yeah,
Don't you recommend any filth?
For some pedestrian BLs. No.
Thank you everyone for watching our reaction. And leave us a like or whatever and some comments and let us know what you think. And hope you join us for next week. And we'll see you then. Goodbye everyone.
See you later.